We want to thank you all for coming. This is a very, very special day for Larimer County. This is a very special day for Loveland. This is a very, very special day for the southern part of Larimer County. We are very grateful that you are all here with us today. I would like to invite you, now that I ask you all to sit down, I would like to invite you to stand as the Sheriff's Office Honor Guard presents the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America. God bless America. God bless America, my home, sweet America.
Thank you very much to the Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, Cliff Schultz, and the wonderful rendition of God Bless America by the Loveland Choral Society. Please welcome to the podium Larimer County Commissioner Lou Gator.
Thank you very much. I get the pleasure, the honor of introducing a lot of people today. I want to take a moment of personal privilege and introduce one specific person out of order. And this person had a fair amount to do with the building and is normally behind the scenes. This person does their work really, actually incredibly well, has to keep 3 people happy, really happy, which is virtually impossible, because that 3 happens to be the Board of County Commissioners. And then this person catches the little things that happen, like the most amazing gust of wind that takes the director's music and blows it completely off of his stand right before the singing of the national anthem. And she jumps up, grabs it, sets it up, and moves it a page at a time for him. And I'd like to give a special thank you and honor to County Manager Linda Hoffman. She thinks those singings go unseen, but I got to tell you, that's just how she does her job. She takes the stuff that needs to get done and isn't looking for any accolade. And she's like, Larry, why are you? But she just does a phenomenal job. So we would be completely remiss today if we did not acknowledge the historic significance of the day today, Patriots Day. And so I would ask that we all stand and take a moment of silence to remember the value of those who lost their lives on September 11th of 2001. Thank you very much. Go ahead and take your seats. You know, as we think about September 11th and the incredible things that have happened, we had some phenomenal people who, while everybody else on September 11th were running away from the fires, ran towards the fires. And those were our first responders. And we had a chance to see those same people in action in September of 2013. While people who were running to try to save their lives, we had the amazing first responders from the sheriff's office, from our fire departments, from search and rescue departments, police departments around Larimer County running toward the danger of the floods of 2013 about this time a few years ago. And so let's honor them and also give them a good applause. And while I'm thinking about that, how many of you noticed the incredible flag that was provided out there? Isn't that incredible? Thank you very much, Loveland Fire and Rescue. So, you know, I think of September 11th and just how those who fight against us meant that as a day to try to tear us apart. And instead, it was a day that galvanized us together, that we set apart our differences and we came together to work as a nation, as a state, as counties, cities, municipalities. And there are so many times when adversity brings us together as a community, as a people. And I think it's always imperative for us to remember that we're stronger together. And I think that's one of the things that makes the United States of America great. So I'm going to take a moment. Usually when we do this, we ask people to stand up and wait for the applause at the end. And you know what? I'm going to just break that rule. Sorry, Michelle. I'm going to take more time on this. So I want each of the elected officials, as I say their names, give them a second to stand up, but stand up and wave, and we will applaud you at the time. And so starting this out is our treasurer, Irene Josie. The next is your Larimer County clerk and recorder, Angela Myers. And I don't know if anybody saw him. Is Steve Miller here? Well, let's give him an applause anyway, all right? He's the assessor. And then our coroner, Dr. Jim Wilkerson. Jim, are you here? District Attorney Cliff Riedel. All right. Larimer County Surveyor Chad Washburn. And then I got to tell you, there's this guy that I got to know. He's an elected official, and I don't know, it was several years ago. We'd had kind of a rough year together between our two offices. But we started this prayer group, and Irene Josie is a part of that. Just people, citizens who get together to pray for your elected leaders. We actually do it on Tuesday mornings. right before our administrative matters meeting, and he wasn't originally going to come, and he said, well, I guess I'll get dressed up and gussied up. But seriously, it has been an honor and a pleasure to get to know this man. He is dedicated to Larimer County. He has done a phenomenal job. Your Sheriff, Justin Smith. Now, there's two guys that some days it feels like I get stuck working with them. Some days it's an honor to work with them. And I had a couple people tell me how well this Board of County Commissioners works. And I got to tell you, and these guys will get a chuckle out of this. And I'm like, they're not in some of the meetings that I'm in. But I first want to introduce your current chair and commissioner from District 2, Steve Johnson. Thank you, Steve. And then I actually got to see this guy turn red this morning as we talked about the amazing job that was done with Interstate 25, and that we're adding a lane each way on Interstate 25. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, that would not have happened without the tenacity, the vision, and just the raw, we are going to get it done. I swear he had some town council members in arm bars making that I-25 project happen. And then he said, we are going to build, I remember the first time he talked to Steve and I, it wasn't a can we build a building in Loveland. It was, we're going to build a building in Loveland. How do we make that happen? Now, the good news is Steve and I actually thought it was a very good idea. And he came up with a way to do it without putting a tax initiative on the ballot, using money that the county had, using some money that we had coming in from taxes. Again, he showed visionary leadership and was an incredible just making sure that things got done. So would you join me in welcoming and honoring Commissioner Tom Donnelly? He's going to pay me for that for a while. Seriously, though. I'd like to also recognize our state and federal delegation present. I did not notice Senator Lundberg. Are you here, Kevin? Nope. Okay, well, let's give him an applause anyway. I do believe State Senator John Kafalis is here today. John? He's over there in the back. Okay, thank you for coming down from Fort Collins. And we have a state representative and former Loveland council member, Hugh McKeon. Hugh? State Representative Perry Buck. I did not see Jenny, State Representative Jenny Arndt. Are you here, Jenny? Okay, and then also State Representative Joanne Janal. Are you here, Joanne? Well, let's go ahead and give them an applause as well. Then representing U.S. Senator Cory Gardner, we have Dan Betts. And representing U.S. Senator Michael Bennett, we have James, I'm sitting there talking to you a second ago, Thompson. James, there you are back there, thank you. I know his last name, I just blanked on it, I'm sorry. Let's see, and then is Mara here? Representing U.S. Congressman Jared Polis. All right, so anyway, let's give a hand for U.S. Congressman Jared Polis. We want to give thanks to the members of the Loveland City Council. Tom knows all of their names, but if you're on the Loveland City Council, I don't have your name, so I apologize. I don't have my cheat sheet with all the names on it. But if you're a current member of the Loveland City Council, this would not have been possible without you, so please stand and be recognized. So it's been fun for me to get a chance to recognize people and the jobs that they have done. But I have to tell you, I kind of hinted at the Loveland City Council and what they've done to make this work. And that would not have been possible with the work of the mayor, Jackie Marsh. So Jackie, I think you're up next.
It's an honor to be here today for this momentous occasion, a new home for our county workers. and a beautiful, strong building for our residents all over Larimer County. I had the privilege of touring it today, and there is such attention to detail. Linda, thank you for that. From the landscaping, from the art that was selected, choosing Loveland artists to have paintings and sculptures, Jane DEDECKER's beautiful work. I would like to introduce members of City Council and give our thanks to them. Richard Ball, yes. Kathy Wright, Kathy over there. John Fogel, Jeremy Jersvig. Let's see, Steve Olson. Okay, let's see. I don't know, is Don Overcash here? Did we see Don? Okay. Leah Johnson. Leah was out working with Habitat for Humanity building homes today, so we thank her for taking a break and coming over. Have I missed anyone? Dave Clark, where are you, Dave? There you are, Dave. I also want to acknowledge the tremendous people on city staff that have helped make this happen. Steve Adams, where are you? Our county manager, our deputy city manager, Rod Winsing is here. Let's see, who else am I missing that's here today? I want to thank our planning department for expediting the process and keeping the project under budget and on time. It took a lot of work. Tom Hacker, our PR person, is here as well. Thank you. And I also want to acknowledge all of the support and hard work by the former Mayor Cecil Gutierrez. Yes. So, and now I do also want to thank the county commissioners. This project at time brought us near to blows, and it also brought us together. And I want to thank Lou Gator and Steve Johnson, and most especially Tom Donnelly. Without Tom, this building would not be here. I think sometimes people don't understand the relationship that Loveland has with the county. It is one of cooperation and collaboration. We come together. We came together with the 2013 flood. We worked together to put people back in their homes and repair roads and sidewalks. Together we did that. We had an event on Saturday thanking the first responders. The people, it was amazing the amount of people that volunteered, the amount of organizations that came together so that we quickly were once again a functional city. Yesterday we had the groundbreaking for I-25 where we're going to add 2 lanes. And again, that's cooperation between many of the local cities and the county. The counties are a most valuable partner to the city of Loveland and other cities in the county. I think I've done what I was tasked to do. I think so, and what it's my pleasure to do. This is an absolutely gorgeous building. I hope that the county employees feel the appreciation that their county feels for them, and I hope the residents that come here to do processes see the respect that has been shown to them by the county in the building of this gorgeous, gorgeous campus. Thank you.
I have the honor of asking our county manager, Linda Hoffman, to come forward. But before I do that, I want to share with you a couple of things that this building means to me. It represents a commitment to customer service on the part of the county, to provide excellent customer service of citizens all over the county, in the southern part of the county, the northern part of the county. Having services in the local communities is extremely important to Larimer County. Providing those excellent customer services by our county employees is very important to us. It represents also, as Commissioner Gator talked about, the frugality that we operate under here in Larimer County, that we built this building with no additional taxes, no bonding, no debt. It was built with cash that the county has on hand. The building itself represents that resourcefulness as well. It is a beautiful building. It will meet the needs of the citizens of Larimer County on one hand, but it's not extravagant on the other hand. It will provide a comfortable and beautiful environment for people to transact business with their local government, but it will do so in a fiscally responsible manner as well. The mayor also talked about the spirit of cooperation, which I want to emphasize again and appreciate our Loveland partners for that. It's no secret that politics at the national level has become fairly polarized and toxic of late. Local government is exactly running in the opposite direction. Local government is running towards working together, collaborating together. At times we disagree, but we serve the same constituents and we serve the same goals and missions. And the mayor mentioned yesterday, if you watched the news, you got to see Commissioner Donnelly and Governor Hickenlooper and Senator Bennett and Mayor Marsh digging and working on I-25. I hope the pace will pick up a little bit in the next couple working seasons. But that would not have happened without counties, cities, state, and the federal government working together. It was predicted that would happen sometime between, I think, 2035 and 2075 without the collaborative efforts of local government. This building is another example of that collaborative efforts of local governments working together. And we continue to do that in many ways, as the mayor mentioned. The mayors of all the communities in this county, which are represented on these stones back here, the mayors of all the communities have been working with Larimer County for the last 2 years to highlight the importance of mental health services in our county. And we have a proposal to hopefully forward that again in the future. But that's another example of the collaboration, of the working relationship, the great working relationship we have with our local government partners. So in that spirit, I would like to invite our county manager, Linda Hoffman, to the podium.
Well, you can tell that I'm not accustomed to being recognized as Commissioner Gator so graciously did. I didn't even stand and say that I'm me. So, pardon me for that. My task is to thank the project team who put this building together. And I have a list, I've been prompted. But as I look out into the group that's gathered here today, so many of you participated because the future occupants of the building were very gracious in stating what they really needed as opposed to what they in their wildest dreams could imagine that they might want. And I think that is a tenet of Larimer County government, that we don't try to end up in Architecture Digest magazine. We intend to end up in a comfortable facility that serves our community, and that spirit goes right down to the occupants of the workstations that will be in this building for decades to come. So thank you to all of you for being right-sizing your wishes into the true needs of our community. I will single out a few members of the project team without whose work this project would not have come to fruition. So Carol Block, our finance director. See, Carol knows to wave. I don't see Janine Haig, our county attorney, but she was instrumental in the project as well. Jennifer Johnson, how did you juggle all those details? David Bragg, our on-site construction manager, wearing a tie, no less. Allison Duncan and Connie Gunter. Speaking of details, worked on the internal layout and setup of all those workstations and offices, so thank you for your work. I also wanted to thank Will Welch. I don't see if he's here. We hired him under contract to help us in the early stages of the project. But you know, every project has a mastermind, and that was our facilities director, Ken Cooper. Probably you've been in your careers through those painful exercises we call lessons learned. And whether your lessons learned exercise was for a project that was wildly successful like this one, or whether your lessons learned project review was for something where things had not gone as well, it always boils down to one thing, and that's communication. And Ken Cooper is another C in the communication chain. Cooper, communication, collaboration, cooperation, he's got it all. So several have said that, already noted that the project was on time and under budget. And the reason for that are those 4 C's: collaboration, communication, cooperation, and Ken Cooper. So with that, Ken, I'll turn the microphone to you.
Thanks, Linda, and thank you all for coming today. We're very excited for the turnout, and certainly it's an exciting day for Larimer County. It's an exciting day for Loveland. A beautiful building to celebrate. We all have a piece of it, and everybody here has touched this thing in some manner, including today's event, and we all appreciate that very much. I get to run through a list of the folks that were tied on the contractor and consultant side, but before I do that, the real keys to this project from the facility side were Jen Johnson and David Bragg. They did a phenomenal job being the link, and yeah, absolutely, please do that. This project was a team effort, and Linda stated very well that you learn things whether it went very well or not so well. This project, in my experiences, you always have 3 or 4 walls that you hit, and then do you stay together? David and Jen together, along with the folks that I'll mention here in a minute, did a terrific job of seeing that in advance and hitting those things and not letting it get to be a wall. They anticipated, they continued to tackle things on the front end, didn't wait for the oh boy, are we going to stay together and be a team, or is this going to be difficult? And they again deserve another round of applause, because that is tremendous work. And we are about $1.3 million under budget. Terrific work, David. Jen, the details, your team, outstanding work. Thank you. On the front end of this project, there were a good number of site issues, but Gerard Investments, Gerard Excavating, and Gary is here. I think Tom Donkle is here. I think Nathan is here as well. I think I saw all 3 of those gentlemen. And thank you very much for being such a terrific partner. Again, you've got, if you look at it from I hate to go to Six Sigma, but opportunities, per million for error on something like this is a phenomenal number of them, in the high millions of numbers of things that can go wrong. And so when you've got a team together, and each of those milestones that happen, site development followed by, in the midst of design, eventually construction, all those things, when you've got folks that are attached and trying for the common goal, and this project was a terrific example of that from the start. Once we got the go, and we're ready to roll in this thing, and this was the site, and this was the building, I can't imagine a project that stands best for what a community can do and what a project team can do. It has been a phenomenal experience, and the people that were part of that, specifically, Jeff Arrett and Brad with the Architect Studio are here today. I don't see them right this moment, but please, thank you, Jeff. A number of their consultants are here as well. Tom Kent is here. I saw Mark Cosmos. The link that Tom Donnelly is going to talk about in a minute, as it relates to the historical pieces of this building. You guys are going to really enjoy that. If you haven't seen it already, it's a very key piece to the puzzle. But Mark's brain thing in that, from the very beginning, he had the idea that we would feature and have that be a focus of this landscape piece. He's the landscape architect attached to the project. And that really, it blew up in a great way. And then we kind of refined it back, and the amount of work that the Architect Studio did, specifically with the beautiful art wall that you'll see with the old historical images, that, boy, the 80-20 rule, the number of hours and time that you spend on the smallest details, but that really have an impact on a project, terrific work. So thank you very much, Architect Studio. Hazelden Construction is here. There's a whole host of folks that are here today. Kevin Hoff, I saw. Derek, there's a number of them that are part of this team. Kevin, where are you? I hope you're in sight. Thank you. Kevin's the PM. Sam is here. Luis is here. excellent project, and the depth of that team. They brought in different folks at different times to have some coverages in the summer, both at a leadership level as well as certainly in the field process. And it's as fine a project as I've seen completed. The add value that they did each step of the way, when there was little idiosyncrasies that I had or that others might have on the project that felt like it was a good tweak and would add a lot to the project, give some people some good thoughts about what we're doing here, they stepped up every time, and quickly Architect Studio did the same thing. Thank you, fellas, for that. Terrific work. That whole team was phenomenal. I mentioned the fact that we're doing terrifically on our budget. We'd also like to thank the Colorado Department of Local Affairs, the DOLA folks. I saw Don Sandoval, and I don't see him currently, but he is here. Don is here. Thank you. We this is kudos back to Hazelden, because we split this project in two and bid it out two different ways within the confines of what Hazelden did for us. But it allowed for us to come to their selection board and 2 times request $1 million, and they gave us virtually all of that. We got about $1.8 million to attach to this project, and we couldn't be happier. We are very, very appreciative of that. Don, thank you for your leadership on that. That was terrific. And the elected officials have been recognized. There's a number of folks though at the field level that got involved. Connie and Allison from the facility side did the dirty work that comes with putting people in place, and that is a lot of work. I've spent a good number of my years in my career of working with individuals and finding the way to best fit the need for individual workspace, and I'd like to thank them for that. There's also a list of groups that I've got. Thank you. From the clerk's office, these again are folks that took a key piece of that role from the customer side, from our customer side. Angela Myers, Pam Nielsen, Tina Harris, and Brian Vance from the clerk's office. And if you get a chance, a number of these folks are here today. Just please recognize them for that hard work. From the sheriff's office, our sheriff, Justin Smith, Steve Bebel. I saw him earlier. I know Steve's here. Jim Disner as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for your role in that. Tammy Olivas from our 4th Street office here with the Workforce Center, now Economic Development Workforce. Tammy is here, as well as Marcy Kasner, sorry. And then from Human Services, Laura Sarter, Nicole Torres, Keith Boehner, and Melissa Carlson. Thank you both all for your help. Dr. Adrian LaBailey from the health side, as well as Holly Younger and Paula Lady. I saw some of those folks here today. Terrific work. And just again, the spirit of cooperation across this project is as good as it gets. We talk about it, how it's hard to spend virtually $20 million, and it's a privilege, right? Absolutely it is. When you get an opportunity like this, a lot of careers go by and you don't do a project like this, but it's also hard, and it requires an awful lot of teamwork and an awful lot of to and fro, day by day, hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute on a project. And again, every name I've mentioned deserves one more round of applause, and I thank you all for that. And I'm probably 5 minutes past, and I'm going to get the stink eye from Michelle, but I do want to also mention the support that the commissioners and my own boss Lorinda Volker, our assistant county manager, and county manager Linda Hoffman, has been phenomenal. You find some opportunities in your career and are given some things that sort of fall in place, and this project was an amazing example of that. But the consistent rudder of direction on this thing and the consistent support from those folks specifically has been unbelievable. And I, my wife gets tired of hearing it, quite honestly, and I share it a lot. So thank you all for that very much. And it's a special honor. It's a special honor to introduce District 3 Commissioner Tom Donnelly. We had a recent opportunity to go down to Cortez together. That's where DOLA did their last cycle. We actually are moving forward with the expansion of police and courts. I didn't mention that, but that's a sort of a plan B or a key piece to this project as well. And David Bragg and Tom and I were able to join together for a couple days together. Really neat opportunity to get to know Tom better. But the things that have all been shared already about the work that he did, the focus that he has for the people specifically in southern Larimer County is pretty phenomenal. And he's very quick to tell you that, and very, very quick He is, in a good way, and he's also very, very quick to act on it. He's a man of action, and I really appreciate that very much. Welcome, Tom Donnelly, please.
It's very kind of you, Ken. Thanks so much. Okay, so thanks, everybody. You learn a lot about yourself during these types of events. You know, yeah, I know. Everyone puts the very best face on you, I guess. Hey, just for a minute, I know we've thanked them a couple times already, but you know, trust me that I know their egos, and they won't get tired of it if you do it one more time. But the Board of County Commissioners, they don't live in Loveland like I do. They are dedicated to providing service to all the people of Larimer County. But they have been 100% behind this project, and they have really done yeoman's work to ensure that other priorities, I mean, budgeting is really about priorities, right? And to take almost $20 million and put it towards these facility upgrades in southern Larimer County, that's a testament to their commitment to all the people of Larimer County, so that folks in the South County can have the same high quality level of service as folks who live in Fort Collins. And so can you give Commissioner Gator and Commissioner Johnson another round of applause on my behalf? Thank you. I know they wouldn't. I knew they wouldn't mind that. I want to talk a little bit. Yeah, this is not necessarily natural for me, what I'm about to do, and that's to talk about some of the architectural enhancements and the public art that are associated with this building. I'm more of you know, kind of a blue collar and hamburger kind of guy, but I'm gonna talk to you about some of the really interesting and amazing things that have been incorporated in this building to really make it beautiful. As you approach the building, the plaza area here at the main entrance is shaped like the footprint of Larimer County, and the tree wells that you see behind us display the names and the dates of incorporation of all 8 municipalities inside the county. It's a really neat addition. The concrete in the plaza loosely depicts the Poudre and Big Thompson rivers winding their way through the county. If you can kind of see how the path of the walkways are curved like rivers. The wing walls that extend south from the main entrance are constructed with stone from the 1950s county courthouse. Daryl Klassen probably worked in that, but I'm just kidding. He didn't. He did. He's not that old. He's not that old. No. Oh, he did. Okay.
He is that old.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't say it, Daryl. That stone that built that original 1950s courthouse has been repurposed not only on this building, but also on the Larimer County Courthouse, on our Larimer County Justice Center, on our alternative sentencing building in Larimer County, and also at our county fairgrounds at the ranch. It's Loveland. You talked about collaboration. It's also been used on the City of Loveland's public library and on Loveland Fire Stations numbers 2 and 6. So we've really gotten a lot of use out of that stone. Unfortunately, this pretty much taps it out, right, Ken? We have no more. And so it's important, I think, because it really is another tangible tie between the past and the future. I think that's why it's so important, and why the county has always incorporated it into our future building plans. The landscaping here is supposed to evoke a mountains to plains theme with a connection to the agricultural history of southern Larimer County. As Ken also mentioned, the main staircase, which it's absolutely astounding. You will not believe it in just a few moments, and I promise it'll only be a few moments. The main staircase features historical photos of the county. Many of them are over 100 years old, and they're absolutely amazing and beautiful. And they reproduced at such an incredible quality when they were blown up as well. There's a beautiful 5-foot by 8-foot U.S. flag that's displayed on the wall in the main lobby. It was flown over the U.S. Capitol building on March 17th, 2018, St. Patrick's Day. For me, Ken, thank you very much as an Irishman. And we thank Senator Gardner and his office. I know Dan's over there for acquiring that flag for us. It's beautiful, and it looks great on the wall. As Commissioner Johnson mentioned, next to that wall is a brass plate, and it bears our names, of course, as you might expect, but it also says something else, which I think is really important. On that plaque, it says, "For the people of southern Larimer County, consistent with their values, built without incurring debt." And I think that's really an important message. I think that is absolutely consistent with our values. We do tend to be more conservative people here. We're mindful of budgeting and tax rates and things like that. And so we're happy to deliver this building without the imposition of any new taxes, without the issuance of any long-term bond debt. And we're very, very proud of that. Thanks. Great. And what's more Loveland than art, right? And specifically sculpture. And so we're so proud to be able to display several beautiful pieces of art here at our Loveland campus. When you first go in, if you go up the stairs, there's a large painting by a local artist. Her name is Joyce Kilmer. She's with us today. Yeah. This painting was like the big winner at the 2017 Larimer County Fair, and I don't want to spoil what's on it. I want you to see it for yourself. It's absolutely beautiful, and it speaks so much to our values as Americans and as people of Larimer County. And Joyce, she will never say this, but she's actually a flood survivor from the 2013 flood. She was a resident of the Cedar Cove subdivision. Her home was decimated and washed away during the flood event, and she is a real survivor. She's a cancer survivor as well. She's a survivor on a lot of fronts and a really strong woman, wonderful. She's one of those wonderful people that we all know that make this the great place to live that it is today. And Joyce is here to talk about her art, and she'll be happy to do that inside. We're also going to celebrate the dedication of two beautiful pieces of art here in just a few moments. They were sculpted by a local. I guess you're kind of like me when you say that Loveland's your hometown, right? Jane, you moved here. I think you told me when you were 7 years old. Is that 10? Okay, but you only look 7. And so I'd like to ask Jane DEDECKER, the sculptor of these two wonderful pieces, to come up and tell us a little bit about the art and what her inspiration was and anything else she might like to share with us. So come on forward, Jane. Yeah.
Thank you. I am honored to be here. And when I knew the county was choosing from a pool of local artists, I knew I had to sort of bring on the A game, because I just feel like I'm such an honor to be from such a talented group of artists. I felt like it was easy, though. I have such passion for local history. Oh, okay.
I don't know. There. Yeah, Rich can't hear us.
Such passion for local history, and just a passionate resident of Loveland. I love this community in Larimer County. So my father, as Tom said, moved our family here when I was 10 from Iowa. And I always teased him. I'm like, you just went to the biggest hill and stopped. You didn't want to go any further. But he landed us in the Makwa Hills. And I've tromped the Front Range and the hillsides and the buttes, and I just love living here. And I also, found out about Mariana Medina, and I just love the history of him. And when Zethel Gates sort of uncovered more about him, I just really was enchanted by his history. My father always dreamed of me sculpting Princess Namakwa, and I really wasn't quite sure who she was, and I don't think anybody really knows who she is, but he always had wanted me to sculpt her. So when this opportunity came, I knew exactly who I wanted to sculpt, and so I thank the Arts Council for allowing me to do this, or the Arts Committee from the community to allow me to do this. And they chose two pieces, My Heart Is in Your Hands and Mariano here, and I feel like even though they're sort of celebrate the different styles of my work, they are very close in their meaning. I love living here in this community. This is my community, and they're about trust. I think, when you see the horse's rope just thrown at his, by his head there, you just feel, that he's trusting of everyone around him. And I just feel like this piece is also sort of a promise fulfilled to my dad as well. I finally got to sculpt this Princess Namakwa. And so I thank everyone here and the committee for trusting me to just go full bore in getting this project done, and the bronze community for kind of stepping it up and getting it done on time, and my family and the community that I live in. So thank you, everyone.
See, that wasn't that hard, right? You just do that another decade and you'll be a natural. You won't even be nervous anymore. One thing that really touched me when Jane described these sculptures to us, when we actually had a committee, and like I said, I was on that committee. So apparently you didn't have to have an extensive background with art to actually sit on the committee. But one thing that Jane said during her interview that was so touching and so moving to us was that she saw tremendous peace in this sculpture and tranquility, and I think that it's evident in both the sculptures. A father adjusting the stirrup leather for his daughter, a trustworthy horse, those family connections, and then the other sculpture, of course, which is so symbolic of Loveland, of the people the couple whose outstretched arms form the top of a heart. And they're leaning, and she explained this to me because I don't know this. They're leaning back, and they're leaning back away from one another, and they're relying on one another for support. And I think that support is so important. It's the backbone of our society. It's family, and both of these pieces, I think, communicate that in such a moving and powerful way, but also in a very tactful and reserved way as well. And so Jane, at this time, on behalf of the Larimer County Board of Commissioners, it's my honor to dedicate Mariano and his Princess Namakwa and My Heart is in Your Hands to not only the residents of the city of Loveland and the people of South Larimer County, but all the people of Larimer County. And we are so thankful to you, and we dedicate this public art. Thank you. Now, I know you give me the thumbs up, but that really did not look like it was the thumbs up look. I know we're limited on time, and we're trying to be mindful of folks' time. And I know you have a full day, and this is the middle of a Tuesday day for you. And so I just want to say just a couple words. Neil Gluckman actually is not here. He just recently retired assistant county manager, a good friend of all of us at Larimer County. And when Neil was retiring, he was cleaning out his desk, and he came upon an old survey that the county had conducted in the late 1980s. And at that time, Daryl, yeah, there you go. This is your handiwork at play here. At that time, one of the greatest needs that county residents identified was a need for enhanced facilities in Loveland, in South County. And so fast forward 30 years, and we are still in the same facility. It did not have ADA compliant restrooms. It did not have adequate seating to encompass the growth of South County. It didn't even have any parking, if you recall. And at the end of the month, people had to sit on the staircase, and there was little privacy. And but I mean, in another way, it really does make you proud to be an American. I mean, it's built in the 1960s. It was the original Loveland library, and the boilers. You go down in the basement, the boilers still work. Everything still works. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. It's not energy efficient like we might think of a building would be today. Not at all. It's probably our most expensive building to operate. But by God, it's a beautiful, timelessly constructed facility, and it served the people of this county so well for so many years. But that was identified way back in the 1980s as the one of the most pressing facilities needs. Fast forward to 2009, and we were in the midst of the recession, and county staff, Steve Johnson and I were brand new commissioners at that time. And I don't know if you even remember this, Steve. I'm sure you do. County staff was charged with figuring out some ways to trim spending, right? Because we were heavily property tax dependent, and we were seeing some actual decreases in property tax values. I know that seems hard to believe, thinking about back on the last couple of years and your property tax bills. I know, but no, listen. And so that really was happening. And so county staff was charged with finding some ways to trim some expenses from Larimer County. And guess what the first thing they brought to us was? Close the Loveland building. Take services out of South County. Have people drive to North Fort Collins to the courthouse to get their license plates, to interact with social services, to see a public health nurse. As you can imagine, that was not met with, I've grown a lot as a commissioner, right, Pamela? You actually reported this. In 2009, my response when they said that was over my dead body. I'll leave that, I know. I guess I'll leave it to others in attendance to decide if I've grown or not. I would hope I would have a slightly less adversarial tone today. But the reality was so many people who have been mentioned by Commissioner Gator and Commissioner Johnson and Ken and Linda really saw that this was an important aspect of our services countywide. And so many people really stepped up, prioritized this to the want of other things that were good and would have been worthwhile as well. So today we're really happy to cut the ribbon on the brand new Larimer County Loveland campus, and we're gonna do it in just a few moments. The reason we're having this this event today is because we wanted to give you an opportunity to come inside, to check it out, to look at it before it's full of packing boxes and people shuffling around trying to get their desks in order. And so you have the great opportunity today to come in before anybody else. You're the lucky 100 people that are going to get to go in first. And so without further ado, we're going to cut the ribbon to open this building. Everyone can come over and join us.